Hey there, Property Masters. Gibb Erskine here, values driven coaching, just to share a few thoughts on my commute to the office and maybe an idea that you can benefit from. Most of us have commutes, most of us do not walk to work, although that would be preferred in my book. Um, so we all drive cars. In Dallas, it's a very common thing to drive your car to work. So on my way to work, I have elected to take a different path, and sometimes that path kind of takes me off in a different direction. So I breathe in a little bit of my surroundings and take less highways or none if I can avoid them. However, my property is in the northern suburbs, so highways are just the norm. However, I've taken to the back roads, and one of the reasons is, how do I maximize the time in my car? I've added more time to my commute. So how do I justify that? Well, it's not really a justification if the value of taking back roads and extending my commute can lessen the likelihood of me getting in a serious accident on the highway or um, in heavy traffic on the highway, which seems to be much more prevalent. Back roads, I can kind of set my watch to them. I know exactly how long it takes to get from point A to point B. The second thing is that I use this time to also um, get caught up on audiobooks and podcasts. And I'm a nonfiction reader, and so because I can't read while I drive, audiobooks have been a really, really informative way and a beneficial way to use this commute time and allow me to give some thought to some of the knowledge, some of the wisdom that's passed along in the audiobook, and perhaps apply it to my career and to my life. So I think Zig Ziglar called it automobile university or something like that. In any event, make your commute an educational experience. And if you're just passing the time anyway, sure you can listen to the radio and see what's happening in the news and whatnot. But after a while, if you feel yourself kind of looking for a distraction, because that's just what happens, um, when you always have music on, then you're likely to listen to more music. If you always have news on, you're likely to listen to more news. But when you start to sprinkle some interesting thought into your brain and into that commute, and you make certain associations with where did you hear that particular piece of knowledge, and you heard it at this particular intersection, and whenever you see that intersection again, you'll be thinking about that piece of knowledge, so your brain does its own kind of automatic reinforcement of that nugget, which is kind of cool. But it really, you know, um, Earl Nightingale, one of the pioneers of personal development, once said, as somebody was starting their journey into high school, is, oh my gosh, the 4 years of high school and then 4 years of college, and like, oh my gosh, I've got 8 more years. And he just said, look, the time is going to pass anyway, so why don't you do something productive with it? And if your commute is something where all you're trying to do is shorten your commute, look, I'm from New York. We look for back roads, side roads, any way to kind of get around traffic and beat the other guy. Then it becomes kind of a game. But if all you're looking for is an efficiency, and you're not going to, all you're going to do is to maybe incrementally shave a few moments of off your commute, then just sit back and relax and know that you got to commute. So let's just put that to good use. My father, when he was taking the train to New York City, used to read the paper both ways and really enjoyed that time. It was a quiet time for him. He can get into the paper, get caught up on news, and the train allowed that. However, when he moved his company to the suburbs and he drove there, he shortened his commute considerably. It was a 45-minute train ride down to a 15-minute commute, but he realized he had no time to read the paper. He was already at his office, and he couldn't read while he was on the road. Um, he could have availed himself of audiobooks. I think there was cassette players back in those days and in the cars. There was 8-track for sure. But I think these days it's a lot easier to stream, audiobooks on Audible or any podcasts that are of interest to you that can help you in your career. So I give you that little knowledge. The other thing that I do, we like to pack as many benefits as we can in here. So not only have I removed or decreased the risk um, by not traveling on the highway and doing the back roads, but I've also created more space to listen to audiobooks. And then finally, if you happen to have a sunroof or a convertible, I roll that back so I can drink in some sunshine. And vitamin D is um, a vastly overlooked element of personal health. And I do take vitamin D3 supplements, and especially in the winter when we aren't outside nearly as much, or the sun isn't shining nearly as much, and it's just worth drinking in and actually feeling the sun on your skin and what it does for your mental health as well as your physical health is enormous. It's absolutely enormous. So give that a little thought, and don't use sunblock. Most of it is horrible for you anyway, and just drink in that sunshine on your commute, and you'll get triple benefits. So, am I telling everybody to not use highways anymore? That's up to you. Am I telling everybody to listen to audiobooks and podcasts? That's up to you, but you might give it some thought. And on my next video, I will give you a list of some audiobooks that I'm listening to and podcasts that I follow, in hopes that it can help you on your journey, really help you propel toward property mastery. Now, if you would like any help with how best to become invaluable, to improve your lifestyle, to improve your career, to become a property master, then I encourage you to just go to my website, valuesdrivencoaching.com/call, and let's talk about it. And there may be ways that you can really maximize your effort and really maximize your enjoyment as a property manager, and actually put yourself in a position to pass along your wisdom to other property managers who can really, really benefit from them. So it's paying it forward, backward, sideways, whichever way you want to look at it. In any event, I hope that you got something from this, and maybe you can put some of these ideas into practice. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to chatting with you, be it one way and on my commute. This is Get Berskin, Values Driven Coaching. Until next time, my dear, dear property masters, we are on our way.